Welcome back. This is Yvonne Davis, Psychic Tarot Astrology Reader, and I want to do one more video related to the March 1st, 2018 full moon, because in my last video I was trying to show Paul Manafort's chart and the Boomerang Yod and a couple of other fascinating alignments that I saw, and for some reason it didn't work properly in the video, and so I had to delete that part. But in this video, that's the only chart that I'm going to look at. So I'm going to do that really quickly here. I'm going to bring up that chart again. Okay, so this is Paul Manafort's chart for this March 1st full moon. And again, I wanted to point out how this is one of the most difficult and karmic alignments that exist. It's called a Boomerang Yod. And what that means is that there are these two karmic readjustments. This line is sometimes called a quincunx or an inconjunct. So you see one here and you see one here. And that's called a yod, or sometimes people pronounce it yod. So if you hear it pronounced that way, then just understand it's the same thing. It's spelled Y-O-D. And it's a karmic readjustment, but it's got these two lines, and that's what makes it a yod. So the Boomerang Yod is even more intense, and that's what we have here at the full moon. We have the Sun conjunct Neptune opposite the moon on the ascendant. That's the center point. And so that means all the energy is directed to the moon, which represents Paul Manafort's emotional and psychological core. The full moon also illuminates and brings things to light. So what we want to look at here is the fact that the Sun is conjunct Neptune, that if it's in its shadow side, that represents deception, lies, deceit, self-delusion, and things like that. And it also represents a dissolving. And the Sun represents one's ego. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean it in a positive sense. It's one's understanding of one's core self. And so he may be experiencing some dissolving. Maybe he's having doubts. I don't know. Maybe he's still stuck in his own self-delusion. I don't know. But certainly his world is dissolving. And then over here we have his natal Neptune. That's one of the karmic readjustments because he has not been an honest person and he's had dirty dealings, and so now he's having this karmic readjustment. And then over here we have Pluto, which rules power, but as I said before, if your power is not built on a firm foundation of integrity, it will crumble beneath your feet. And here we have the North Node, which is another karmic point, and is also called the direction of your evolution, is landing on his Pluto. So, and again, there's Ceres there. So I just wanted to come back to this because this is so incredibly powerful. One of the most karmic alignments I have ever seen in all of my decades of doing astrology. I rarely see things like this, you know, because most people are just normal, average people. But this is someone who is at the center point of this FBI investigation. And I think that really it's resting on him now. And he thinks that he can hold out for a trial. And somehow he thinks he's going to be successful, maybe because he thinks he has nothing to lose at this point. He's already lost everything if he, you know, tells the truth. But I don't think he's going to succeed in the trial. And I don't well, maybe he also thinks he can be pardoned. I don't know what he's thinking, but this alignment is so karmic. It's called the finger of God. And I mean, I've just never seen anything like this. Not just the fact that there's a Yod here, which is incredibly powerful in itself, but the fact that the North Node is on his Pluto, I mean, it's just absolutely astounding. So one other thing I wanted to point to over here was the fact that the South Node is conjunct the vertex, which is again another indication of karma and fate. Now this was drawn up for Denver, Colorado. I'm going to show you the one for Washington, D.C., where the vertex is also in a very key point. But right here you can definitely see what it's pointing to about his karma. This is the house of self, and this is the house of others. So there's, okay, I also pointed out this Uranus, which is things that are unpredictable. And this is the North Node. And again, that's a very karmic point. It's the direction of your evolution. So with Uranus on his North Node, it's bringing things into his consciousness and into his life and his world that he probably never expected. And I think it's still slamming him. You know, since we don't see everything that happens in the news, we're seeing a lot right now, but we don't necessarily see what's happening behind the scenes with the FBI and Paul Manafort. But because of these alignments, I have absolutely no doubt that he is experiencing a time in his life that is probably feels devastating, absolutely devastating, because his world is falling apart right now. And then there was one other alignment I wanted to show you, which was the Saturn square to his Venus, Mars, Sun conjunction. As I said before, that is that's what I call the Saturn squeeze. So he's got all of these incredible alignments. The Boomerang Yod, the North Node on his Pluto, Uranus on his North Node, and then this Saturn squeeze to his Venus, Mars, Sun conjunction. Ugh, I would not want to be in his position. It just sounds so awful. So anyway, I just wanted to get that little piece in there because for some reason it got messed up in my last video. And also to thank everyone for your comments. I've really enjoyed it because it feels more like a conversation. And just to know that you are getting a lot out of this material that I'm offering in these videos, that's very rewarding for me to know that you're getting a lot out of it. And also wanted to give a little heads up about the cards that I've been using, because I just found this deck so incredibly powerful. It's called Soul Cards by Deborah Koff, Koff Chapin. So Deborah Koff Chapin, Soul Cards. So I wanted to give her credit for that because these cards really are powerful. So that's about it. Again, just wanted to say thank you for everyone who is subscribing, for all of your comments, for all of your likes, and if you're sharing on social media with your friends and family. I just want to say thank you for all of that. And also, my goodness, I have been blown away. I mean, I knew a lot was coming down, but today it just feels like a fire hose in the news media. And it's, I think, very encouraging for people who felt a lot of just outrage about the things that have been going on ever since, really since the campaign. And since the election, and it's just, to me, it feels like the tide is finally beginning to turn, and like we have people in the government that we can actually trust, people who actually have integrity, who are going to hold other people accountable for crimes that they commit, and not just for outright black and white letter crimes, but also for just the lack of integrity and the lack of ethical behavior. And normally I've been very emotionally subdued because I just I can't live my life day in and day out feeling outraged about things that I don't have control over. But when I look at the charts and when I look at what's happening in the news, I start to feel like there is divine justice. And that's very encouraging for me. And I know it is for a lot of you as well. So again, thanks for joining me for these videos, and I will look forward to communicating with you some more as time goes by. As I said, I think April 29th is going to be another big boon for bringing things to light, and this karmic drama that's unfolding, what I like to call the real life Game of Thrones. So, but I'll probably be doing some videos in between as interesting alignments come up and as new things come out in the news and new players are revealed. I'll want to look at their charts as well. So I will see you again at my next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.